Good morning everybody, it's Iain RTO here. Welcome to another ranking show here on Tuesday. Today is a viewer's request, but also a guilty pleasure for me. It's always a delight to do something that's Marillion based, and today we'll be looking at Fish's solo albums. When he left in Marillion in 1988, he went on and had a reasonably successful solo career, and he made 11 albums. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, coming in at number 11 is the 7th album from 2001, Fellini Days. Obviously we got Fish on the vocals, guitars was John Wesley, keyboards John Young, bass Steve Vantis, drums Dave Stewart. Backing vocals on this album are done by Susie Webb and Zoe Nicholas, percussion Dave Haswell. Okay, first track on the album, 3D. This track always has reminded me of something that Roger Waters would have done on his solo albums. It's got that nice feel to it, nice storyline, pretty solid song. Second track, Sophie Line. Another good track, very strong track. Got some great arrangements, great guitar work in this, really solid song. Okay, Tiki 4. This is where I start to struggle sometimes. This is one of them songs that I just can't get into. I don't know why, it just fizzles out on me. Smile. Again, it's a solid enough track, but it's not the best on the album. Long Cold Day, it's okay, but again it just lacks something. Dancing in Fog, it's not too bad, I suppose. Literally Ballad, it's very ordinary. It doesn't stick out. I think this title's about apt for it. The Pilgrim's Address, it's not the best thing on the album either. It's just very ordinary, nothing to inspire me. But the last track does. Clock Moves Sideways, great track. Lots of atmosphere on this, lots of great little guitar bits, great vocal from Fish, top of the pile for me. Okay, this is the least played of all my Fish albums. I mean, when I put it on to do this ranking, I hadn't listened to it for months, and the only songs I really know about are the Clock Moves Sideways, 3D, but the rest is just can be a little bit flat. But I'll give it an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, coming in number 10, third album released in 1993, Songs from the Mirror. That's the covers album. Great title for a covers album though. So on here we have got Fish, Robin Bolts on guitars, Frank Usher on guitar, Foss Patterson on the keyboards, David Payton on the bass guitar, Kevin Wilkinson on the drums, Lorna Bannon on backing vocals, Danny Campbell on backing vocals. So the first cover he does is Question from the Moody Blues. Fantastic track this is anyway, and Fish does it justice. Then we get Boston Tea Party from the sensational Alex Harvey Band. This is a great version, but the better version he does is on one of the compilations, Yin and Yang. Can't remember which one it's actually on, but he performs it with the surviving members of the band. Much more heavier, really good. Then we get the fantastic Fearless from Pink Floyd. Love this version of this song. At the beginning you get Mick Wall talking about him buying him a mouse machine, and then when he switches it on, no one leaves him an answer machine on his a voicemail on his machine type thing. Very, very funny, very, very good track. Then he went and tried 8 Man by the Kinks. Very adventurous thing to do, but he pulled it off, and it's a great version. Next track is Hold Your Head Up from Argent. It is not a bad cover, but of course it's just not a patch on the original. Then we get an interesting one, a song called Solo, from a lady called Sandy Denny. Came out originally in 1974. This is a very, very good cover of this song. He actually does it justice and sticks very close to the original arrangement. Then we get one of the clangers. He does a version of I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe. Unfortunately, it's not a very good version, and it is the worst song on the album. Next one he tackles, Mark Bolan's Jeepster from 1971. This is a great version. One of the best covers I've ever heard of a Mark Bolan song. Sticks to the originality of it. Brilliant version. Just like the last track on the album, 5 Years, of course, from David Bowie, from the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust album. Terrific version. I love the song anyway, but this is a great version. As it goes as an album full of covers, it's not bad. Of course, it's got a very dodgy version of I Know What I Like on it, and that I'd say is the only poor track. So I'll give it an RTO ranking of 6.8. Okay, coming in at number 9. It's the 4th album from 1994, Suits. And it has got Fish on it, of course. David Payton, Foss Patterson, Frank Usher, Frankie, Robin Bolt, and Kevin Wilkinson, and we've got some extra keyboards from James Cassidy. First track on the album, Mr. 1470. Nice little rock of this, great bass line, great little bit of bass from Davey Payton. Solid track. Then we get Lady Let It Lie. It's not a bad track, but this is only for personal reasons. It's not the best time for me, 1994, for those that know me. It's just too close to home, as they say in that song. It's a good song, got a great guitar solo, but it's never been a great song. I mean, it came out at the time at the wrong time for me. Emperor's Song, I just don't like this at all. I never got into it. Fortunes of War, superb song, moving, great lyric, one of Fish's great songs. Somebody Special, I love this. Spanish guitar at the beginning, and it features through the track. Great bass line, fantastic song. No Dummy, I just find this boring. I never thought I'd say that I'd find a Fish song boring, but it is boring. Don't like it at all. Pipeline, though, is a great song. Nice little proggy song, great guitar work from Frank and Robin. Very, very fine track. Then we get the great Jumpsuit City. Such a catchy chorus line. Writing on a postcard, Jumpsuit City. Great stuff. Great bass line from Davey Payton. Fantastic song. Bandwagon, nice uplifting little track. Got some nice little guitar riffs in this. Great track. Then we get my favourite track, and one of my favourite tracks, Raw Meat. everything in that song, slow stuff, eerie stuff, everything we expect from a classic Fish song. Okay, mixed bag here on this album, Suits. It's got some very, very good tracks, and it has got some tracks that are particularly not brilliant. Still a very good listen though, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 8, 6th album released in 1999, Raingods with Zippos, and it features Mr. Steve Wilson from Porcupine Tree. So his influence on this album was pretty strong. So you got Fish, Steve Wilson, Bruce Watson on guitars, Robin Bolts on guitars, Till Pullman on guitars, Phil Grieve on guitars. Quite a few guitar players come and play on this. Steve Vantis, which is his current bass player. Tony Terrell on keyboards. Mickey Simmons also did some keyboard work, and the ever-present Davey Stewart. Tumble Down, first track. Love the start of this, that piano, nice flowy. You thought, oh, is this going to be fast or slow? It's fast. It's a great song. Great start to the album. Mission Statement. This is written by, this is what it says on the thing, it's written by Dick, which is obviously Fish, Rick Astley. Yes, never gonna give you up. Rick Astley has wrote a song for Fish and Paul Thorne. It's a great song. It's got some great guitar riffs, great bass line, and it's got a nice little jiggy feel to it. Incomplete. I love the idea of this song, but I just feel that Fish's vocal on this is rather flat. I think it's in the wrong key for him. I really do. It's a shame because it is a nice song. Bit like the Tilted Cross. His voice is just totally out of kilter on this. It's a shame because it's a very, very nice track. Then we get my favourite track on the album. It's a cover song again. It's another Alex Harvey. It's Faith Healer. Awesome track. Awesome, awesome rock track. It's a great track anyway, but Fish does a great version of it and I love it to bits. Next track, Rites of Passage. Very nice song. It actually, I don't know if they realised that in the Tilted Cross and Incomplete they sort of got it a little bit wrong, because it's in that same sort of vein, but this Fish's voice sounds a lot better on this. So great stuff. Then we get the mini epic Plague of Ghosts. It's split into 5 parts, which makes ranking this a lot easier than listening to the whole damn thing about 400 times. So the first part's called Old Haunts. This is a nice keyboard start. It's got an eerie feel to it, and then that goes straight into the second part, Digging Deep. It's got a great bass line, great vocal from Fish, strong track, brilliant piece, best part of this Plague of Ghosts. Then we get Chocolate Frogs. Again, we go back to more the eerie, atmospheric side. There's a lot of singing and talking at the same time. He sings a line, says a line, sings a line, moves the song nice, just like he did in on Misplaced Childhood. That voice really is gripping. Then we get the worst bit of this song called Waving at Stars. It's got that horrible bass and drum machine that does not should be appear on any form of music because it just doesn't serve its purpose. If they'd have got rid of that and didn't bother with a drum beat, it'd still make it a very moving piece, but with that drum beat it just sounds horrible. Next part is called Raingods Dancing. Again, great piece of proggy work, very influenced Steve Wilson on this. great to have him on board. He sort of, I think he was a little bit of a mastermind behind this song, and the arrangement very proggy. And the last bit is called Wake Up Call. Great way to finish the song. Great guitar work from Steve Wilson. This is a very strong album by Fish. There are a couple of tracks, well, as I've said about Fish's vocal is a bit flat, but the highlight of this album is The Plague of Ghosts. I'll give an RTO ranking of 7.3. Okay, coming in number 7 is the 8th album from 2003 on mail order, and if you was just buying it retail, 2004. Obviously I got mine in 2003. It's A Field of Crows. It's got Fish on it, Bruce Watson on guitars, Frank Usher on guitar, Steve Vantis on the bass, Mark Brzezinski from Big Country on drums, Tony Terrell back on the keyboards, and Dave Haswell doing some more percussion. The first track on here is called The Field, real strong opening track to the album. Got some great guitar work, very good. Next track, Moving Targets. Another good bass line on this guitar track. Really dominated the bass line on this great track. The Rookie, nice little track that rocks. It's got this very 70s feel to it with the keyboard, that keyboard sound, you know, the like Hammondy type sound. Really good track. Zoo Class, excellent. Wah wah guitar effects, brass, horns, rude words. Pretty good track. Quite naughty words actually, but then Fish is known for that in his songs. The Lost Plot, great track, reminds me so much of Family Business, that sort of vein. Old Crow, well, this has got a great riff in this, solid little track. Numbers, no, I just can't get into this, never have. Exit Wound, nice little track, got a great saxophone solo on this, quite mellow and relaxing with a nice guitar solo. Innocent Party, best track on the album, really rocky, good track. Shot the Crow even. Another solid track, very good, got some nice string arrangements in it. And The Scattering Crows, another solid track, fantastic arrangement again, back to that classic sounding Fish. This is a solid album, very strong for the last quarter of this album. Some absolute belter tracks on a very strong album, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, coming in at number 6, second album from 1991, Internal Exile. This features Fish, keyboards Mickey Simmons, guitars Robin Bolton, Frank Usher, bass guitar Davey Payton, drums Ethan Johns, and a couple of tracks done by Ted McKenna from Sensational Alex Harvey Band. Opening track Shadow Play, my favourite track on the album. It's got that Celtic feel to it, very Celtic. The whole of this album's got a Celtic feel to it. Superb song. Then we get the brilliant Credo. Love the driving drums in this. Great hook, catchy chorus, brilliant song. Then we get the brilliant Just Good Friends. This is a lovely song, tells a story about a love that shouldn't have happened. I think we've all been there at some stage in our lives. Brilliant song. The best version of this though is he done on the Yin and Yang. He did a duet with Sam Brown, and it is such a fantastic song and I love it to death. Favourite Stranger, never been keen on this song. I don't know, I think it's just something about it, it just doesn't inspire me. Then we get the brilliant Lucky, very catchy, uplifting sort of song, Brilliant stuff. Then Dear Friend. I've always liked this song, but I think as I get older, it's more poignant to me now. And you lose touch with people, and then you reconnect. And at the moment, this song is quite dear to me as well, because I have reconnected with somebody, and it's just nice. And this song just fits the mood at the moment, so I love that track. Then we get Tongues. Now this has got Ted McKenna drumming on it. It's a moving song, cultural song, speaking in tongues. If it did explain, it's on one of the live albums. I think it's to do with politics and very deep, but a great track. Then we get the flamboyant Internal Exile again, Ted McKenna. Very patriotic towards Scotland. Got a nice little jiggy bit in it. Brilliant stuff. And then we get a Misfire. He does a cover of Something in the Air. A great track by Thunderclap Newman. And this is just pretty rubbish. That's only one way to describe it. He's trying to do a Celtic-y type version, and it just didn't work. Sorry, guy. Sorry, Fish. Love you to bits, but you made a bit of a boo-boo there, mate. Solid second album. Not as good as the first one, of course, but a very, very solid album. Couple of suspects on there, of course. I'll give it an RTO ranking of 7.8. Coming in at number 5 then is the 10th album, released in 2013, A Feast of Consequences. This features Fish, Robin Bolt's back, Steve Vantis, ever present on the bass towards the late end of the career. Foss Patterson's on the keyboards again, Gavin Griffiths is drummer, and a lady called Elizabeth Troy Antwi does the backing vocals. First track, Perfume River. This is a bit of a Fish epic. Love the start of this. Again, very Celtic. Bits of bagpipes, atmospheric. Then some nice acoustic guitars come in. Very nice arrangement. Then it goes into a rocky track. Really, really superb track. Next track, All Loved Up. My favourite track. Really hard-hitting rock track. This is absolute belter. Blind to the Beautiful. Another great song from Fish. He is so good at writing these wonderful stories as well. So bold of him to write stuff like this. Title track, A Feast of Consequences. My voice is really starting to crock up. I'm just hoping again I'm not getting a cold. As I was saying, great song, solid vocal from Fish. One of my favourites off the album, Highwood. It's just one of them Fish tracks where he talks, sings, draws you in. Very, very moving song. Crucifix Corner, another of them epics. Fantastic to listen to, great storyline. The Gathering. This reminds me of such a track, was it Batty's Wood on Thick as a Brick 2, Ian Anderson. Brass band at the beginning, nice little track, bit of fun. Thistle Alley, great track. Drumming on this is superb. Absolutely brilliant. Deep drumming. The Leaving, another track, singing, strings, great arrangement. Then we get The Other Side of Me. This is a track that to me has let the album down. A bit of a filler track, I think. It doesn't have the same punch as the first 9. Same with The Great Unravelling. It's a little bit better than The Other Side of the Man, but it's still not the best track. The first 9 tracks on this album are absolutely stonking. It's the nearest thing I think you got to doing a proper concept album. It's just them two last tracks that let it down to me. I think if this last two was solid strong, then this would be a little bit higher. But it still gets an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 4 is the fourth album from 1997, Sunsets on Empire. This is a stonking album again. Written together with Steve Wilson of Porcupine Tree, and boy can you tell, the influences on this album are terrific. So you've got Fish, Steve Wilson, Robin Bolt, Frank Usher, Foss Patterson, Ewan Vernell on bass, and Davey Stewart's back on the drums. First song, The Perception of Johnny Punter. Okay, this song is a little bit offensive to people, I think, but this is telling the story of a chap called Johnny Punter. Nothing to do with Fish's personal, but it's the song. It's got a great opening guitar riff, and then it's got this great, tremendous heavy driving bass, driving drums. It's the heaviest thing that Fish ever wrote or performed. Brilliant song. I don't care about the offensive lyrics at the beginning, because it's all part of this song. It's explaining something. Great track. Then we get Goldfish and Clowns. This is beautiful, very well arranged, delicate piano at the beginning, got some nice riffs in this song. I do love it. Change of Heart, a very good track, nice acoustic song that moves along at a nice pace, great riffs again, and a terrific song. Then we get a great song called What Colour Is God. A lot of Fish talking in this. It's got a great drum line, and what adds to this is the Indian drums from Bollywood sort of sound. It's terrific. Great track. Tara. What can I say about this without offending people? I'll just say it's not my cup of tea, shall I? We'll move on. Jungle Ride. Again, we've got that sitar-y type drum and great lyrics. Fantastic. Then we get a nice little rock song called Worm in a Bottle. It's got a bit of a 60s feel to it. Very, very good. Then we get Brother 52. I love this song at the beginning with the telephone call. Then you get a great bass line from Davey Painton. Funky stuff. Great little track. Title track's next, Sunsets on Empire. This is an amazing track. Written by Fish and Steve Wilson. Awesome track. Tell the Porcupine Tree influences in this. Absolutely brilliant. Say It With Flowers. The weakest track on the album. Not very good. Okay, again, this is a solid album. One of his best, of course. It wouldn't be at number 4 for no other reason. I don't think it'd ever get any higher because Tara and Say It With Flowers just spoil the album. But I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8.2. Okay, coming in at number 3 then. 9th album. Limited edition in 2007, so that's when I got it. And it was released to the general public in 2008. It's the brilliant 13th Star. Obviously it's got Fish on it. Frank Usher's back doing some guitar work. Steve Vantis is there. A guy called Chris Johnson. Foss Patterson's there. Gavin Griffiths on the drums again. Okay, first track, Circle Line. Love the guitar riffs in this. Great song. Who would write a song about the circle line? Fish did, and did not a bad job on it. Great song. Square Go. Great rock track. Great riffing. Great guitar work from Frank. one of the best guitarists that Fish has worked with. Then we get Mills de Bossos, really good track, nice vocal from Fish. But what adds to this is the backing vocal from Lorna Bannon. She complements Fish's voice very well, as Fish can't really hit them high notes anymore. He admits to it. I think he said about Jigsaw, he could never perform it again because it's just too high. What was he thinking when he wrote it? So she compliments him on that very well. Again, like in Zoe 25, this is a dark song, a very melodic song. But again, Lorna's vocal just lifts it and gives it that little bit of extra. Fish takes all the low parts, she takes all the high parts, and it's really good. Again, Arc of Curve is the same, strong track. The voice, the harmony on this one is even best one out of the three. Terrific song. Then we get the brilliant Machamal, great rock song, strong riffs. I love the drumming in it. It's got that industrial sound to it. It is a really cracking track. Then we get a track called Open Water. This is superb. It's got little bits of old Marillion in here, especially the keyboard work. You could imagine Mark Kelly playing this. It's got that sound. It's got that Marillion sound. Foss Patterson, I don't know what he did, but it just sounded like something straight off Fugazi. Fantastic keyboard. Then we get Dark Star. This is a great progressive rock track. The keyboards in this are stunning. The guitar work is just, everything's good about this. The drumming, and it's got one of Frank Usher's best guitar solos. Really good. Then we get Where in the World, another great song, duet with Lorna Bannon, great track. Then we get my favourite track, the last track, the title track, 13th Star. This sort of combines, or I think the sound on this combines things that Fish likes. There's Pink Floyd in there, there's Roger Waters solo stuff, there's Marillion. The sound in this is great. It's got little bits of elements. It's a superb track. This was the really good album. He's towards the end of his recording career. He put out some very strong albums, and this is one of them. This is probably the best album that he put out in many a year, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, coming in at number 2 is the 11th and final offering from Fish, Weltschmerz. Came out in 2020. Got lots of guest stars on this. Everyone came out and did a bit on his album. Steve Vantis did some bass. Robin Bolt appears on it. John Mitchell, Craig Brundle, Davey Stewart's back. David Jackson plays the saxophone. Liam Holmes, Foss Patterson. Brilliant backing vocals by a lady called Doris Brendel. We are featuring her soon. She has made some absolute cracking albums. Very good singer. So the first track, Grace of God. When I heard this, I thought, wow, what has Fish done to his voice? It is so strong. Brilliant. I love the guitar work in this. It is fantastic. Then we get the brilliant Man with a Stick. Great arrangement. I just love the percussion at the beginning of this with the sticks. Obviously this was voted the best single on rock, the rock track, Planet Rock. There you go. Great track. Then we get Sea Song, the Trondheim Waltz. Very, very different. An accordion, bit of an papa type track. Really good. Walking on Eggshells. What can you say? Another great track. The guitar work on this is superb. Awesome track. Then we come to my favourite track on the album, the longest track as well, 15 minutes. Rose of Damascus. This is probably one of the best things that Fish has ever wrote. It's up there with Grendel. It's got all the elements of a progressive rock song. It's got the quiet bits, the rocky bits, the guitar work is great. The backing vocal from Doris Brendel is absolutely spot on. Then you've got Fish talking through the song, gives it so much atmosphere. This is my second favourite song ever that Fish wrote. Superb stuff. Then we get The Party's Over. It's another sort of internal exile type thing. Just love the track. Little Man, What Now? Another little classic, epic. So much so much atmosphere to this track. It's got a storming sax solo, great bass line as well. Fantastic song. Garden of Remembrance. This is just a modern day version of A Gentleman's Excuse Me. Fantastic. Great arrangement. Piano work on this is superb. Waverley Steps. And again, another great progressive rock track. So many different elements to it. Strings, brass, rock, quiet. Fantastic song. And we end up with the title track, Weltschmerz, another classic song. Elements of Celtic rock, progressive rock. It's put everything into this last track, and everything you need to say goodbye to your fans. This took a long time to appear because of COVID and all that, but it was worth the wait. I fell in love with this from the moment I heard it. This is his best album since 2007, and to do probably a second best album ever and leave it to your very last. What a strong finish. You started with a great album in your solo career, and you've ended on a high as well. I mean, if you take it further back, Script to the Jester's Tear to Vermelsch, it's an evolving thing. Brilliant. Incredible songwriter and a fantastic frontman. And I'll give this album an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 1. If you haven't guessed, debut album from 1990. Although it was finished in June 89, EMI in their wisdom decided that they shouldn't release Fish and Marillion at the same time, and they put Fish's back, which I think annoyed him a little bit, and hence I don't think the relationship with EMI lasted. Because out of the two, this is a little bit better. Sorry, Marillion fans, but this is a far better album than Season's End. So on doing the honours on this, we have Fish, Frank Usher, Hal Linz, Yannick Gears, yes, Yannick Gears, John Giblin bass, Mickey Simmons on the keyboards, Dave Spillane on pipes, Phil Cunningham on whistles and accordion, Alison Jones on violin, Mark Brugeski plays some drums on here as well, John Keeble does some Spandau Ballet, and Tessa Niles and Carol Kenyon do the honours and the backing vocals. First track, Vigil. Truly one of the greatest songs Fish wrote. Great keyboard start. I'll strongly say this is a script to another tale like the script for A Jester's Tear. It's in that vein. Brilliant track. Then we get the tongue-in-cheek song, Big Wedge. All about American evangelism. Give us your money, because God says it's all right. Really solid track. State of Mind, I love this. Bit of a protest song, of course. Superb song. Then we get the Brilliant Company, the iconic song, crowd pleaser. You sing along to this one, even when you do an acoustic set. It's the little bit, the Russian bit as we call it. No keyboards on that tour, so we sang it for him. Brilliant stuff. Then we get a beautiful song called A Gentleman's Excuse Me. Probably one of the greatest little ballads that Fish wrote. It's up there with Sugar Mice. Simple as. Then we get another tongue-in-cheek track, The Voyeur, I Like to Watch. Great bass line. Opened up at the early tours. Great song. Then we get the dark, chilling but brilliant Family Business. Domestic violence brought to the front, Holds by Fish. Great song. Pulled it off as well. Then we get the track that he wrote with Yannick Gears, View from the Hill. This is all about the music industry. Driving riffs on this. Great guitar work from Mr. Gears. Great track. And the last track, Cliche. I love this song. Probably got one of the best guitar solos Frank Usher ever did, with a bass line that's just moving. And then the bit I love in this the most is when he's halfway through, you get him just saying, he just says, I love you, and then you get that drum straight out of Mama, In the Air Tonight, boom boom drumming. Great track. This was a well anticipated debut album. We looked forward to this so much, and we wondered, would Fish deliver? We wasn't disappointed with this album. But Velmuch very close knocked this off the top, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to my beloved Vigil album. It'll always be my favourite. One of the most played albums of anything that Fish has done. And there's only one thing I can give it. A 10 out of 10. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. It's always nice talking about bands I like. I knew trouble is I waffle on too much. Next show we're doing today is a little special retro ranking. It's all to do with the premiere this week of the new James Bond film. So we are going to rank every soundtrack song, the ones at the beginning with all the dancing and all that sort of thing. We're going to rank them in order, including the new one. Should be an interesting show. So I will see you all for that later. Take care for now.